lot of tragedies happen in the Bermuda Triangle. Some are lesser known, whereas others were big news at the time and still in some cases are. And then there's the curse that even goes back to centuries past. Ellen Austin. In 1881, the 210-foot-long Ellen Austin was sailing from London to New York when she came across a derelict near the Bermuda Triangle. Everything appeared to be okay with the unidentified schooner drifting near the Sargasso Sea, except for the missing crew. Captain Baker of the Ellen Austin requested the derelict be observed for 2 days to ensure that it was not a trap. After 2 days of no response from the ship, the captain and his crew boarded the abandoned vessel to find the well-packed shipment, and no sign of the crew. To tow it back with the Ellen Austin, the captain boarded the ship and set sail with a prize crew. However, after 2 days of sailing in calm waters, a squall separated the two ships and the derelict vanished. According to legend, Captain Baker's lookout could see the vessel throughout his spyglass days after the storm, only to find it drifting aimlessly far away again. Ellen Austin was finally able to catch up with the ship after hours of effort. However, no one was on board according to legend. Mary Celeste. The Mary Celeste was discovered stranded on the sea on December 4th, 1872, with everything in place except for the entire crew. It had set sail from New York to Genoa, Italy. There were 7 crew members aboard the vessel, as well as Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife, and their 2-year-old daughter. However, when a passing British ship called the De Gracia discovered Mary Celeste under partial sail in the Atlantic off the Azores Islands, it was unmanned, with no crew aboard. The lifeboat was also missing. It was also discovered that 9 cargo barrels were empty and a sword was on the deck. There hasn't been any trace of the people aboard the ship or the missing lifeboat, though. Studies of the ship ruled out the possibility of a pirate attack because everything on board, including the barrels of alcohol being transported as well as the crew's valuable belongings, were undamaged, and pirates kinda tend to take those. Theories about Mary Celeste's disappearance include the possibility of a criminal conspiracy, alien abduction, and even an attack by a giant squid. However, most believe it accidentally forayed into the Bermuda Triangle. Witchcraft. December 22, 1967, the cavern cruiser Witchcraft set sail from Miami with Captain Dan Burek and his friend, Father Patrick Horgan. However, after only 1 mile from the Coast Guard received a call from the captain. He stated that his ship had collided with something, but there was no significant damage. The Coast Guard set off immediately after receiving a request to be towed to the shore, reaching Witchcraft in as little as 19 minutes alone, but to no avail. The area where the ship was supposed to be was completely deserted, with no signs of any vessel having been abandoned or even being present. What's most intriguing about this story is that the cruise ship was virtually unsinkable. Not to mention, it also had numerous life-saving devices aboard. None of them were used and the ship had vanished. Over the next few days, Coast Guard officials searched hundreds of square miles of ocean but were unsuccessful. Nothing of the ship has been discovered to this day. The ship is simply gone, and all that remains is speculation about what can be done now. Carol A. Deering. Because of the complete mystery surrounding its abandonment, the Carol A. Deering, a 5-masted commercial schooner, is one of the most written about maritime mysteries of the 20th century. Carol A. Deering was discovered around on the treacherous rocks of Hatteras Diamond Shoals, North Carolina. There were rumors the ship was involved in rum running. However, when the investigation team from Barbados arrived at the vessel after days of effort in the rough sea, they discovered a deserted ship with all crew members missing, as well as the ship's equipment. The disappearance of the Carol A. Deering, often referred to as the ghost ship of the Outer Banks, along with a few other vessels during the same period in the Bermuda Triangle area, has been valuable information on the mysterious waters. Still, nothing has brought anyone any closer to solving this mystery. According to reports, as many as 9 vessels vanished from the same region during that time, none of which were ever found. What do you think? Could something have happened in the Bermuda Triangle, or is it simply a coincidence? BSAA Star Tiger. In 1948, the BSAA Star Tiger, along with its crew and passengers, took off for Bermuda despite strong winds. At 0304, radio officer Robert Tuck of the Star Tiger requested a radio bearing from Bermuda. However, the signal was too weak to get an accurate reading. Tuck repeated the request 11 minutes later. This time, the Bermuda radio operator obtained an accurate bearing of 72 degrees. The Bermuda operator transmitted this info, and Tuck acknowledged receipt at 0317. This was the aircraft's last communication. The Bermuda operator attempted to contact Star Tiger at 0350, and after receiving no response, assumed that it had switched to direct radio contact with Bermuda Approach Control. On the other hand, Approach Control reported that this wasn't the case. The Bermuda radio operator attempted to contact Star Tiger again at 0405 but was unsuccessful. Therefore, he declared a state of emergency at 0440. This was also because, even though many receiving stations were tuned into Star Tiger's frequency, he hadn't heard any distress signals. A press dispatch reported the plane's loss 440 miles northeast of Bermuda on January 30th, 1948. HMS Atlanta. The Atlanta was a training ship when she vanished with her entire crew on the 31st of January 1880 after setting sail from the Royal Navy dockyard in Bermuda for Falmouth, England. It was assumed that she perished in a powerful storm that crossed her path a few weeks after she set sail. The Admiralty received more than 150 telegrams and 200 personal calls from worried friends and relatives after it was announced that the ship was missing and possibly lost. The lack of survivors made the investigation of the ship's loss difficult. Still though, one former member of her crew, able seaman John Varling, testified that he had found her exceedingly crank, as being overweight. She rolled 32 degrees, and Captain Sterling is reported as having been heard to remark that had she rolled 1 degree more, she might have gone over and foundered. The disaster claimed the lives of 281 people. Among those killed was Lieutenant Philip Fisher, who had enlisted Queen Victoria's indirect support to be appointed to the ship. He was the younger brother of Lord Jackie Fisher, the future admiral of the fleet. Flight 19. Flight 19 was a group of 5 Avenger torpedo bombers that took off from Fort Lauderdale on December 5, 1945. They expected their 3-hour bombing mission to be as routine as the runs they had done countless times before. The patrol encountered difficulties shortly after dropping their payload of replica bombs, though. Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor, an experienced pilot, suspected that his compass was malfunctioning and that Flight 19 was flying in the wrong direction. Taylor, concerned, contacted another Navy flight instructor who was flying near the Florida coast. Taylor deviated from protocol by pointing a lost plane towards the setting sun as the weather worsened. Taylor adjusted the heading in an attempt to navigate the Gulf of Mexico, believing they were somewhere over the Florida Keys. Recognizing Taylor's error, some of his men questioned his decision to continue northeast and persuaded him to turn around and return westward. For unknown reasons, he turned the plane around again, still concerned that they were somewhere over the Gulf. Their transmissions became fainter and fainter as the plane flew further away from land. They were never seen again. Now it's time for the day's best pick. Marine biologists discovered something lurking in the deep, which may explain all the disappearances that have happened so far. 30-foot creature. May not be a dinosaur, but a startling discovery of a 30-foot creature lurking in the sea may have solved the Bermuda Triangle mystery, at least according to a documentary, and experts have argued that it could explain some of the ships that were mysteriously lost. Tsunemi Kubadera and Kiyoshi Mori, marine biologists, captured footage of a giant squid attacking baited lines in these waters in 2005. 2 years later, their findings were revealed in Amazon Prime's Inside the Bermuda Triangle. According to the documentary, in October 2005, Japanese scientists made a startling discovery off the coast of Tokyo. It was a massive squid about 30 feet long. Japan's National Science Museum researchers identified the creature as an Architeuthis, a rare species that seizes bait with extreme force and violence. Bermuda researcher Rob Simone believes the discovery proves that something similar is lurking in Bermuda's waters. He was quoted in 2007 saying, "We don't know what lies beneath the ocean's depths. This could very well be a giant creature unique to this part of the ocean. And who knows, maybe there is an actual dinosaur hiding there." The USS Cyclops. The disappearance of the USS Cyclops, one of the Navy's largest fuel ships, represents the largest loss of life in the US Navy history in a single incident. This massive ship set sail from Brazil to Baltimore through the Bermuda region in March 1918. It carried over 10,800 tons of manganese ore and 309 crew members. Starting off on a good day, this ship's first and only message indicated no problems. The ship, however, was never seen or heard from again. A thorough search of the area was conducted, but nothing was discovered. No trace of the ship or any of its crew members have ever been found. The USS Cyclops captain never sent a distress signal, and no one on board responded to radio calls from other vessels in the area. Despite various theories, the naval investigators were also unable to determine a specific cause for the ship's disappearance. The USS Cyclops' mysterious disappearance is added to the list of more than 100 ships and planes that have vanished under mysterious circumstances in the Bermuda Triangle, fueling people's fears about the mysterious location. Great Isaac Lighthouse. Unlike other disappearances, the Great Isaac Lighthouse mystery is unique in that both lighthouse keepers were stationed on land when they vanished, and the Great Isaac Rock, a barren island, had a tragic past. According to local legend, a ship wrecked with no survivors except for a single infant. The lighthouse, first used in the mid-1800s, housed the island's only 2 inhabitants, its keepers. A small boat was launched on August 4, 1969 to inspect the lighthouse as regular phone calls had gone unanswered. When the investigators arrived, they discovered that the island was deserted, with no signs of its two guardians. People believed the pair were caught up in a drug smuggling ring or that they were both kidnapped. But with no evidence of wrongdoing, the fate of both keepers remains unknown. Some even thought that perhaps the pair left during the hurricane, which is strange as the lighthouse was unscathed. It's hard to say if their disappearance has anything to do with the Bermuda Triangle. However, this isn't the first time it happened. Over in 1990, 3 men vanished as well. Maybe there really is a curse out there. Either way, see you all next time.